This is Zain, and we just turned his brand new business into a £1.1 million company in just 5 months. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably wondering, is it possible to generate that type of revenue with a brand new company in a competitive niche? And the answer is yes. My goal for this video is to prove to you in the next 15 minutes using the content engine, which is just a system of producing high quality content. From Instagram alone, they generated 346K. Let me break it down, give you all of the numbers. I will not hide anything. I'm gonna show you absolutely everything. But before we start, let me give you some context. The business was in a very interesting niche. It was prop trading, which is a finance niche, right? And the problem with this industry is it's full of competitors. There's been an influx of these companies popping up overnight. So we had to be strategic with what we did. We couldn't just randomly post and hope that we was gonna make money. We had to use a system that was gonna generate revenue. Now, I can't promise that you're gonna get $1.1 million in 5 months, but I'm gonna break down step by step exactly how we did that. Not only that, I'm gonna show you how we done that from 4 production days over the 5-month period. We're gonna look at the content strategy that generated 346K from Instagram alone. We're gonna look at how we turned 4 filming days into months of content, and also how we used the same content to power our paid ad campaigns. Now, this video is really gonna matter to you if trust is hard to build in your niche or you're in a competitive niche, because prop trading is full of skepticism. There's so many companies popping up, shutting down, people losing money. So at the core of this system, it's all about trust. But before we get into all of that, let me actually show you the receipts. Let me show you the real numbers, because there's a lot of people that talk shit on this platform and I want to break it down. This is Hyros. So Hyros is a software that tracks revenue directly from their payment processor. So if someone's given them money, it will track it. Not only will it track it, it tracks where they have come from, what traffic source. Was it organic? Was it paid? Was it Instagram, TikTok, you name it? So let's break down some of the numbers in Hyros and show you what actually happened over the 5-month period. First and foremost, you can see, look, September time, the company didn't exist, right? There was nothing going on. But then you can see, as we plug in the content engine, you can see week by week, there was consistent growth. There wasn't a hockey stick. It was more about consistency over time and trust compounding. Now, by month 5, you can see that we generated over $1.1 million in revenue, $346,000 coming directly from Instagram. But we did have a couple of unfair advantages. One, he's a good looking lad, good on camera. He created content before, so he understood content, makes it easier for shoots. We had an email base of 20,000 emails that had bought courses and things from him before. And we also had a business page on Instagram that had 20,000 followers that was pretty much sitting dormant. All related to trading though. So there was a few unfair advantages there. But let's actually look at the numbers, right? The client spent $57,000. We generated 55,000 leads over the 5-month period, and we achieved a paid ROAS of 4.5. Now, ROAS, for anyone that doesn't understand, for every $1 he spent, he made $4.5 back, which was solid, right? They're good numbers. But when you include the content engine, so organic revenue, the blended ROAS actually jumped to 23. Basically meaning for every $1 he spent on marketing, he got $23 back. Now, when you think about it, from 4 content production days, so from 4 shoots, each shoot roughly generated $69,000 when you break it down, which is insane. And this is the content engine in full effect. I'm actually so proud of this system. But the thing is, the beauty of it here is it's not groundbreaking, it's not record breaking. It's just about systemizing and understanding your business, your customer, and what content you need to put in front of them. But I'm gonna break it all down so you can do it in 3 simple steps. Right, so let me walk you through exactly how we built the content engine. The first step was organizing everything into content buckets. So the way we look at that is there's help content, real content, and proof content. Now, help content educates, provides value. Real content builds connection and authenticity, and proof content demonstrates results and builds trust. But here's where most people get it wrong. They apply a generic content ratio to each business. When you're starting out, that's not a bad thing. But if you do the right research, you can understand what actually drives your customers to purchase. And what we did after researching the prop market, we discovered that their audience is extremely offer driven. They just love deals. They love deals and discounts. Who doesn't, right? But there was a massive catch. They're also incredibly skeptical. So if you're constantly putting out new offer, and pushing too hard, they assume that you're not legitimate and they don't trust you. So it's this delicate balance. The main thing we wanted to focus on was a solid launch campaign with 3 key components. First component, we had to get emails, right? So we promoted a pre-launch email list, which was a competition where people could win trading challenges. We was gonna give away $1 million in trading. The second was high quality animations and videos counting down the launch date. And the third was premium graphics highlighting the company's unique selling points and just out-branding the others. One thing that was absolutely crucial was maintaining exceptional quality across everything we did. Because the prop trading companies, the competitors, what we saw was their branding was a little bit weak. The big players, they were doing a great job, but the others just wasn't caring about quality. So we use quality as a trust building exercise in itself. Brand matters. It matters what people feel when they're watching your videos, what they see. Everything matters. Now, for our first shoot, we mapped out exactly what we needed to create for the first 4 to 6 weeks. For me, that's the sweet spot when you're creating content or you're planning. We didn't want to create too much ahead of that because we didn't know what was going to perform and we wouldn't have had time to adjust. But 4 to 6 weeks allows us to maintain some level of consistency, but also analyze the results. It gives it enough time. So we organized the content into specific threads. USP thread, that highlights benefits of trading with a company. This was our help content. Conversion thread focused on launch offers, which was 50% off and giving away a certain amount of funds. And growth content, we didn't really focus too much on that to begin with because we knew that they was driven by offers. But let me show you some specific examples of what we created. So we posted twice a day for 2 weeks before the launch, and we made sure there was a video and a graphic every single day. From USPs, teaser countdowns, animations, competition offers. In the first 4 weeks, we generated over 9,000 sign-ups because we create urgency with maintaining that feel. The key insight here is that we weren't trying to create random content. Every piece served a specific purpose in the customer's journey and building awareness to drive that conversion. Don't do anything at random. Your time is valuable. Don't just put things into motion and not value your time, but also the viewers. Right, now let's break down what the production process looked like. This is where the real magic happens. Now, one of the biggest things about what we do is save business owners time. Creating content while running a startup or any business is a nightmare. It's not fun. It takes time, it takes planning, especially if you want to be good at it. So we always start with a content plan for the month. This is basically just a big idea dump where we look at the ratio of the 3 content families, help, real, and proof, and then we decide how many of each we need. Once we have our idea, we lock in a shoot day with the business owner or the creator. Everything we do when it comes to a shoot needs to fit your brand, your tone, everything about you. It has to connect with your business and your audience. But once we confirm that date, we progress the ideas into an actual shoot plan. This is just a basic Google Doc, right? It has 3 pages. First page, all the boring information about the shoot day. Nothing exciting. Second page is where we literally go in and script word for word absolutely everything for each video. Some people don't like scripts, but at least if we have it, we know what the key points are that we want to touch on. And then the last day is basically the rundown of the day, exactly how the shoot's going to flow, which always doesn't go to plan, by the way, but we lock it in as much as we can beforehand because then we know what the game plan is for the day. And then really it's just about making sure once you get all the prepping and planning done, it's just then about supporting the client to do the best they can on that day. Now, someone like Zane is great on camera because he's just going to roll through scripts, right? He's just going to roll through things absolutely quickly. But we chose for his brand this high-tech studio with these wicked green screens that were lit up just to elevate his brand compared to other competitors. And as you can see, these behind-the-scene clips, the environment itself builds credibility. Most prop trading companies, they're literally using phones against a white wall, which if you're not trusting the company already, can you imagine what that says to that buyer? It says you don't care. Right? It says you don't care about quality. What does it say about the software they're going to have to use? It says a lot, right? So I'm not saying you have to do this for every niche, but in this case, it mattered. Now, from a performance standpoint, we saw spikes whenever we released graphics on offers. The videos themselves built trust really and credibility consistently over time. We wasn't really trying to blow anyone's socks off with one particular type of video, and we wasn't trying to go viral because we had a base. But the beauty with this approach is they're not relying on any one piece to go viral. We're building a content engine that delivers results day by day. One thing we always make sure to do is make sure we mix in some ad content for our shoots. So we normally always try and get 3 to 10 ads, which we would film on the same session. I'll get onto the ads in a bit, but the challenge in this niche when it comes to Meta, they're super strict with financial ads. You can't be too offer driven, but we know offers drive this audience. So it was this constant battle, but we create a mix of top of funnel, middle funnel, and bottom funnel ads. The top of funnel ads use the same storytelling approach as our organic content, just with slight tweaks for the platform. This integrated approach is what makes our content engine so powerful. We're not creating separate content for organic and paid. We're building assets that work across the entire marketing ecosystem. So from one single shoot day, we typically create anywhere from 20 to 30 short form videos. We always bank between 15 and 20 graphics, 2 to 3 animations, and 5 to 10 ads. But this can change depending on the goals of the business. But that's all from one day. But most importantly, it's all from one day of your time. And I think that's one of the things that Zane appreciated most, because he's so busy. He's spinning multiple plates in multiple countries. 1 minute he's in Dubai, next he's in Morocco, then he's in Marbella. So we just lock one day, it helped him. And we actually done, in the end, he started sending a creator to come and do the content. So he didn't even have to leverage his own time. Now let's talk about what really made this campaign special and what I call the trust ecosystem. Now here's a big problem with most agencies, and I can say that because I used to have to hire agencies. They're either really good at ads or they're really good at content, but rarely both. And they don't care what happens once traffic arrives. And I used to hate this. When I used to hire agencies in the past, traffic is just one part of the puzzle. You drive traffic, but the website's terrible. Or you drive traffic and the branding and content is or inconsistent. And all this does is create holes in your funnel, but more importantly, in your bank. So when we build out this trust ecosystem, I want you to think about your business a bit like the sun, right, in the galaxy, with all your marketing elements orbiting it. What you're doing is you're constantly pulling people in. Your business is at the center, right? And your content and your ads and your emails and your website and your community, they're all working together to draw people in. And let me show you what this looks like in real time. So if you're in a competitive niche like prop trading, someone will see an ad, they'll click on the ad, but they don't convert immediately because they're skeptical, right? They was minding their day, they've just seen this ad that just popped up on their screen as they were scrolling. It's a new company, never heard of them, but they've got a good offer. So they then go, I'm not gonna purchase, I'm gonna go and check out their socials. So they go on social media to validate whether they can trust you or they can't. Looks okay. I'm gonna go look at Trustpilot. I'm gonna see if there's any good reviews. And then they'll go into Discord community and maybe join your email list. And they're waiting for the one thing that is actually going to trigger them to purchase. It might be an offer, it might be a case study, it might be a testimonial, but they're watching. When I launched one of these companies many years ago, you would find that the amount of people that saw an ad and purchased was really, really high. Now it's dwindling down because there's so much skepticism in the market. And I can literally show you, look at this on Hyros. Here's real customer who touched 7 points before they actually made a purchase. They saw an Instagram post, then an ad, then they joined the email list, and then they visited the website, and then they finally bought. And this means you have to stay absolutely consistent with your marketing. The moment you stop one of these orbiting planets, you start to create holes in your funnel. Now, I'm not saying that traditional funnels don't work. They do. But the majority of people in competitive spaces, or if you sell something really high ticket, time it takes to make a consideration to purchase is a lot higher. And what you're trying to do is shorten that window. They follow you in silence, waiting for you to drop the thing that makes them to purchase. Now, you don't always know what that is. And that's why consistency is the most important thing. And this is why content is one of the number one things you should be investing your time and money in, because even if you don't have a huge budget, it's one of the things that builds trust. Video content builds the most amount of trust that you possibly can think. And I'm not talking specifically talking heads. You could be jumping on Zoom and doing interviews with clients. You could be doing showcases of the products. There's so many things you could be doing that you're probably not. Most importantly, our content created multiple paths to purchase. So people converted directly from Instagram, others followed a longer journey through multiple touch points. And the key insight here is that content isn't about views or engagement. It's about creating trust assets. that works alongside your other marketing channels to create a complete revenue system. So what can you actually take away from this case study? Let me break it down into actionable steps for you. First off, content isn't just about going viral or getting views. It's about building a trust ecosystem where every single piece of content works together. And that content, when they work together, convert prospects into buyers. The second thing is consistency beats perfection. This client didn't have a single viral hit, but what they did have is a consistent engine that delivered results day by day. And the third thing is quality matters. In competitive niches where trust is hard to earn, the production value of your content becomes a trust signal in itself. Now, a lot of people make that a reason not to start because they want it perfect. I'm not saying it needs to be perfect. I'm saying quality does matter. Quality could be in the form of education you give. You might give more value to that person than they're getting anywhere else. You might not stay surface level like everyone else in your niche. So it doesn't mean perfection. Now, if you're thinking, this sounds great, but I don't have massive budgets and I can't hire an agency, you can implement this system on a smaller scale. If I was starting out, I'd focus on 1 long form video a week and 3 to 4 short form videos every single week. And just using those same content pillars we discussed. The long form, focus on solving objections, explaining your process and showing proof. And you could do it via case studies like I'm doing here, or you could interview clients. And then when it comes to ads, people put ads on this pedestal. You can run ad campaigns from $10 to $50 a day. And you can drive traffic to your business. And then what I would always do is before you jump on phone calls, before you try and sell to these people, send them to a video that builds trust. Get them to watch your process video or watch your case study video. And that allows them, especially if you're selling high ticket services, coaching, consulting, that allows them to get to know you, understand your process without wasting your time. And when they do come on a phone, they're already pre-sold. Look, typically, we work for business owners that are doing £1 million and over in revenue. But my goal with these videos is to show you behind the scenes of stuff you just wouldn't normally see to help you get to that point. Yes, this prop trading company went from 0 to $1.1 million in 5 months using this exact system, but the principles can work at your scale. It can work at any scale. It's just about adapting them to your resources. The beauty of content is that it compounds over time. Every piece you create becomes a permanent asset in your trust ecosystem. So start building yours today, even if it's at a small scale. If you found this valuable, let me know below. I want to be creating more of these and share as much behind the scenes and case studies as I possibly can with you, but only if you guys want to see it. But I'm committing to showing you all the real strategies that drive real results. Thanks for watching. Peace out. See you next time.